Hi, I'm Brittany Hall from Yukon Extension, and we are here today at Urban Fresh Gardens with Greg and Anthony. So Greg, can you tell me a bit about your operation, what you grow, and where folks can find your products?
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about Urban Fresh. Urban Fresh is a non-profit organization. We're a 501c organization. We primarily focus on youth ages 14 to 18, where we teach them urban agriculture. The food that we grow, we actually get them into the food hub or farm to school program.
Today we're talking about the role of DIY in growing in a small space. So do you know about how big the space is that you're growing on?
I will say a little bit under an acre.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how are you currently using it? I know you've got some raised beds and some low tunnels, or how are you?
Well, the thing is that we are trying, at one point we were thinking we want to utilize the entire space to just maximize production, but the more that we grow, we find out it's not just a space to maximize production, but we want people to come in and enjoy the space at the same time. And so we have what we have going on here. We have the Learn to Earn program, where we bring in the youth and teach them urban agriculture ages 14 to 18. And then we have other programs that we do here, like ESL, English as a second language here. So and so we want to kind of have the space where people could come and sit, and also a space where they could learn. But at the same time, we want to create a space where we could maximize our production. And one of the ways that we do it is that we create smaller beds. Most community garden probably would create beds that are 4 feet, 4 feet by 8 feet. But we try to do it, a little bit smaller, where we do like 2 feet and wide, and the length could be anything, because it's just easier to maneuver. It's just easier to weed. It's easier to handle. So we just choose to do smaller beds. So
you're growing all in raised bed? Do you have any in-ground production?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, and I see you have them raised up a bit higher. Is that for accessibility, so people don't have to bend down?
Yes, because we really engage our community, and we have all different type of people come into our growing space. We really want to focus on people with disability. It's becoming a passion of mine to really make this garden become accessible. Wheelchair accessible. That's probably a next step that we're going to probably push for. And people with physical disability, we're really thinking about that too. So people with physical disability can come into the garden and not have to bend so much to participate in whatever activity that we have going on.
What has been the role of DIY, do it yourself on the farm? Different projects. Did you build the raised beds yourself? Do you have volunteers?
So yeah, again, like Anthony, which is on an apprenticeship program, basically shadow me and see what I do every day, not just on the farm, but throughout the non-for-profit space, all the stuff. So we have the youth, they come in, we bring the material here, and I just show them the bed that I want them to build. I show them how to build them, and I also kind of tell them why we're building it like this. And it's a good hands-on experience for the youth to just learn how to use a drill, how to use different tools, because some just never had that experience, and when they come here, it's an experience for them.
So pretty much everything that you're doing here is do it yourself, but it's not just you, it's also the youth that you have coming in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So out of all of the projects you've done on the farm, which would you say have been the most helpful so far?
This year, what's been so helpful is that we found an irrigation system that help us to, and having the kids coming in and help us to put drip irrigation inside, and in most of our beds. So that's been really helpful on a timer, where we don't really have to come in and turn the timer or turn the water on. The irrigation goes off and water the beds. So that's been really helpful this year.
So have you used any different resources, like any books, any other farmers, YouTube, anything like that has helped you when you've been working on different projects? Yeah,
I have a few farmers that I follow. Out in Quebec, John Fortier. Curtis Stone, you know, those two farmers been like one of my main go-to. I look at a lot of Never Sink farms. So those three farms are really my, you know, farms that I look at a lot. So I kind of take from them and see what I can implement.
Has there ever been anything unexpected that has come up and you were like, oh no, how did this happen? Any like problems that have arisen as a result of some of the projects you've taken on?
You know, when I just started, and some of the greenhouses that I was trying to make, like, you know, buy those $200-300 greenhouse off eBay and try to put it together, and then, you know, not knowing it won't take the snow load because you're just starting out, and you know, come back and see the whole, you know, after a snow day and the whole thing demolished.
It's not anything that we can control. Like, for example, if we're making a raised bed and the wood that we get is a little bit crooked or it's just not perfect, it's kind of hard for us to perfectly line up stuff and make it perfect and square.
Are there any different skills that you've had to learn since you started working here?
I mean, I had basic woodworking skills when I came here, but it was really like coming down to building a lot of raised beds. Like there's raised beds that are like 3 beds high. Up there, those are the ones that really pushed my pushed my wood limits, if that makes sense. That really made me like to build beds, because it was, at first it was like solving a puzzle. Like I didn't really understand how to do it. I had Greg to help me out with it, and I mean, at first it was really slow. It was really slow assembling. We'd assemble like probably one in 2 hours. It was abominable. But now
you're quick. Can you tell me where you've gone to get some of the materials you have on the farm?
You know, we probably get some stuff locally if we get somebody have something local, but Facebook Marketplace is the go-to place.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you've faced, like on this particular plot? That, you know, is it the neighbors? Is it the slope? Anything that has been kind of made things difficult for you?
So when you somewhat in a urban space like this, and depends on your community, you could have neighbors who don't feel like they want that type of activity here, and they will give you a little bit of a hard time. But the other challenge it really is that when you're in an urban space is, you know, a lot of these empty lots that you're looking at, there were buildings here. And yes, Broad City Harvest was here before us, and yes, they dump a lot of soil here, but nevertheless, I was never really comfortable, you know, to really grow in the dirt, because if you really dig deep enough, you'll be hitting slabs. And even putting up this greenhouse was really difficult, getting these ground poses in, because there are so much slabs there. We struggled. That's why it took us such a long time to really erect this whole thing. So those are some of the challenges that we faced.
Can you just briefly touch on what it's been like working with the city to have a farm here in the city of Waterbury?
I would put it in one word, that it was God. And I say that because a lot of farmers had a tough time with cities. We are part of the BIPAC group, and we heard a lot of their struggles. But the moment I moved to Waterbury, I connected with the neighborhood association leader, Fanny Marone, and she's all for gardening. And you know, I came in, yes, I felt some struggles, but at the same time, it's city plot of land. All of this belongs to the city, and I've been just growing on it for about 5 to 6 years. And now I got connected with the mayor, one visit with him, and told him what I was doing, that I was a non-profit organization, and he said, oh, you know what, we're gonna make you get that plot. You know, and right now we just signed paperwork for, you know, all the plot of land given to Urban Fresh Gardens.
That's amazing.
So yeah, that's awesome for us.
And then, so as a nonprofit, it's hard, you know, funding is not as easy. You're not eligible for all of the grants that all of the farms are. So what are some of the struggles there?
It's just keep searching for funding. You know, the struggle is really, you know, running out of funds, dipping in my pocket, paying, keep the program going. Especially being such a young organization, as you know, we really this is probably our 2nd year as a non-profit, and the idea of the Learn to Earn program, or the idea of the ESL program, which takes money. So, yeah, funding been really the big struggle for us.
Do you have any projects on the farm that you're excited excited about that are coming up?
We want to bring in some rabbits, you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's really an exciting thing for us.
So what are some of your future goals for this space? I know you've got a high tunnel going up, so what are the plans here?
Well, the plan is really to build a social network somewhat with youth and really educating young people on urban agriculture. It's really about legacy for me. It's really about passing down something that's worth something,
Yeah.
you know, and give it to you so they could pass it on to somebody else. So for me, yes, I love agriculture and I love to feed people, but for me it's all about legacy for the next generation.
Yeah, sharing that knowledge.
Yeah.
If money wasn't an issue, what are some things that you would love to do here at the garden?
Oh wow. You know, I would definitely get like a hydroponic garden going. Yeah, that would be really the big thing for me. Probably I would take this whole greenhouse and put a nice hydroponic greenhouse happening here.
Do either of you have any advice for other farmers who like have access to a small space and are thinking about using it for farming or gardening?
Oh yeah, I'm sure like if you have a small space, you're thinking about gardening, gardening could be somewhat expensive, so you want to see if you could use all the resources that you could find. You know, resources that's going to be safe. So when we have started, some of the resources that we use was grow bags, because when we look at the space we have and the amount of soil that we would have to get, we decided that it would be way cheaper that you put growing in containers. And growing in containers will definitely help to cut your costs. So that's like one advice I would give. Like, if don't be afraid of it. Spend time putting down wood chip if you could get access to it, because weeding could be like 60% of your your gardening time, if you don't plan right. So it's good to lay down some plans of how you're going to make the garden work and try to follow somebody who have some experience.
Where did you get your wood chips?
So from the local wood cutting, tree cutting guys here. So because they would normally pay to dump it. So they give me more than I could ask for.
Perfect. That's the way to do it. And Anthony, what about you? Do you have any advice for folks?
I would say try to plan to grow in fall, so you have a lot of time to at least either work the land that you're planning to grow on, or just start your crops indoor.
Thank you for having us here today and showing me your operation. This is like such a cool space, and I love what you're doing here.
Thank you.
So thank
You're
you,
welcome.
both of you.